next panelist is a lovely lady that I'm so pleased to be sharing the stage with, and I'm really, really excited to hear you speak. Shireen Hafeez is also a mother, wife, advocate, entrepreneur, and a global student. She's lived all around the world, attended Purdue University to pursue her intellectual passions. She became an advocate for individuals with hearing impairments after she navigated her own personal journey with her own son's hearing impairment. Shireen takes obstacles in her life as a route to educate others, chooses to think out of the box in every realm, and is currently initiating a Helping Kids Hear movement. So Shireen, please come to the stage.
It's a pleasure to be here. I'm so fired up right now. I'm honored to share the panel with you. What I think I realize right now, I'm sorry, I've had a very crazy week and my voice is spent, is that revolutionaries what is a revolutionary? It's somebody that is catapulted into a cause that perhaps you never thought or would even be considering fighting around, right? You're born and raised here, you've been to Syria once, but yet you feel that, that sense of responsibility and connection. I too never thought that I would be advocating or fighting for children who are deaf or hard of hearing. Was I interested in the deaf or hard of hearing community? Quite frankly, I wasn't. My son was diagnosed when he was almost 4 years old, and it has been one heck of a journey, to say the least. I'm not someone that takes things sitting down, and I am very, very interested in social change on other realms. I was very active in a multitude of non-for-profits, as you were, and many of you are. But of course, what fuels my passion is obviously something that hits very close to home, which is my own child. Soon after my son, I'm just going to fast forward, my son was diagnosed, and I was very hungry to meet other families or other parents or to meet other children that were part of the deaf and hard of hearing community, such as my own son. It was not easy, surprisingly, to find that. I had Googled some organizations, one in particular, which ironically was about to have a family conference. I was very excited. I had signed up to attend that conference. And the night before, I receive an email which says that to all participants that will be coming to the conference, please refrain from speaking to the media and avoid confrontation with protesters. And I'm completely perplexed, and of course still very raw by the diagnosis of my son. I'm like very confused because I'm thinking, okay, we live in a day and age of political correctness. Who on earth would be at a conference for children that are deaf or hard of hearing? Who would be protesting, and what the heck would they be protesting about? I decided I wasn't ready for that because I probably would have ended up in jail. I have no idea what was going to happen. It was very raw, so I chose not to go. Next day, my son was going to a special lab school, and I spoke to one of the directors there, and I said, okay, please explain something to me. I get this email related to the family conference. Do you have any idea what that could be related to? And she took a step back, and she was like, oh my goodness. Okay, let me get the kids settled. I'll come out and talk to you. She comes out, and she's like, okay, there's something you should be very aware of. And I said, okay, what? She says, there is a big divide in the deaf community. I said, what do you mean? She said, there is a very big divide in the deaf community, meaning that there are two camps. One are those that communicate via ASL and that believe that being deaf, there is nothing wrong with it. It's not a handicap. You don't need technology or assisted learning devices to be who you need to be. Then there is the other fight, which is modernity, technological advances, and people that have become very reliant on technology, the cochlear implant, advances in hearing technology, etc. And there's no in between. So here I am, struggling with my own child's development, and his language was severely delayed. Obviously, he was hearing less than 50% of what the world was to offer to him, and it was a very big struggle and uphill battle. I ended up stumbling into this organization called Hands and Voices, thank God for that, which is the honest broker. Parent founded, started with a mother based out in Colorado, also a mother of a daughter that was hearing impaired, and it has spread. I think that it's a national organization. I believe there's only 10 states that do not have a chapter. Otherwise, we are fortunate enough to have it. What it is that parents are trained to advocate for newly diagnosed families. And what is part of being an advocate is that you educate parents about laws, what their children's rights are, which is actually one of the greatest and most valuable tools, actually, no matter what your disability is or impairment or challenge, knowing your child's rights in terms of federal and state law is very important. Soon after I joined that organization, I received less than 8 hours of notice that there was going to be a bill that people can come and support or lend their voices to that was going to be held in front of the state legislator. What that bill was to fight for an insurance mandate that would provide coverage for hearing aids. There are only 27 states in the United States that have an insurance mandate that cover hearing aids. Indiana, Illinois, for example, are not one of them. With less than a few hours to run by the skin of my teeth and make it happen and show up, I go, knowing nothing about who wrote the bill, how comprehensive it was, how well researched it was, all of that. I walk in to the hall where the insurance committee was sitting, and I very quickly discover that, so it's packed with like over 100 people in a very small hall. So I'm very fired up because I'm thinking, oh, that's great. All these families are here, and we're going to go after these guys next, and we're going to get an insurance mandate in this city and in this state. And wow, it's a good day, right? Turns out there was myself and 2 other families in that room. Guess who the rest were? Lobbyists. So, needless to say, we were outnumbered. What I discovered very quickly was that in the state of Indiana, which is where I currently reside, Indiana does not have a professional legislator, meaning that all these guys that represent the state, that have all this power to make decisions that affect our lives, have day jobs. So what's worrisome and concerning about that is that gives them a lot of time to have steak dinners and golf outings with lobbyists. So if I'm in the hall with you and you're going to remember that we just had dinner Saturday night, are you going to contradict me, or are you going to go in favor of these 2, families that think that they even have a shot in influencing your decision? Logic will tell you, obviously, what the outcome was, on top of the fact that the gentleman that had written the law, the proposal for the insurance mandate, it was a half-baked bill that was sure to fail in any case. It was just a song and dance. He didn't take in any data. He didn't, and who did we have, to help vouch for that? Was the head of the Indiana School for the Deaf, the director and founder of St. Joseph's School for the Deaf. Did he include them in the conversation when he was writing the bill? No, he did not. So it was sure to fail. And I'll never forget that, because when it was my turn to speak, all these guys are sitting there very cocky and actually very condescending. And what happens is that this legislator is slapping these papers, acting like he's doing us a favor, saying everyone, this came out of his mouth, everybody wants us to solve their problems. Infertility, bariatric surgery, everybody's got a problem. He's putting my son in the category of someone that is infertile. Now you can just imagine what happened next, right? It's my turn to talk. And first of all, I address how incredibly insulted I am that he would put a child a child that doesn't have a chance to someone that can still live a fulfilling and very, that can live out their dreams. And all this child is asking for is assisted listening device. But you're going to spend $40,000 on someone that is overweight. And you're saying that my child's cause is unjust and is asking way too much. So I give my spiel, very fired up. And it turns out that that was like the last thing to be said. They wrapped up. So two of the legislators came up to talk to me, surprisingly. And one of the guys actually, and he was so shameless. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to judge what someone does for a living. But he's an Elvis impersonator as his day job. An Elvis impersonator for his day job. You can't make it up. You just cannot make these things up. In any case, the executive director for Hands and Voices also got catapulted by her daughter's hearing loss, and what she has is a non-for-profit that she started to help raise money for children that cannot afford or whose families cannot afford hearing aids. So we have embarked on a grassroots movement very recently called Helping Kids Hear. And we are going to go after it again, but this time I'm going to be part of the conversation. And you were talking about pursue, passion, purpose. This wasn't something that I had to seek. It was something that was just catapulted onto my lap, and I had to do something of that. And it's been a pleasure sharing my story with you. And there was a lot more that will evolve, so who knows, maybe by the next conference, there will be more to tell of the tale of how this journey will seek. But hopefully, and awareness is a very important thing. I had done an awareness campaign last week. I had invited a deaf artist as a way of showcasing and promoting, because I too am very much interested in the arts and using that as a vehicle of raising awareness. And I urge anybody whose child is part of a challenge or disabled in any way, shape, or form, what I believe and what I have discovered through my journey, and it's very humbling always, is that it doesn't matter what challenge is on your child's lap. What matters is that the journey just changes, but the destination can be the same. Thank you very much.